What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today we're going to be responding to all of your questions. Why am I wearing headphones? I don't need headphones. So, under this video, you guys left a bunch of questions. This is the new language challenge. Now, in that video, I announced to the entire listening universe, which is apparently 6.6k people, that I would be getting good at Mandarin Chinese. Kind of a crazy thing to announce considering the fact I fucking suck at English, but I did do it because there is a company called Lingopie, which, if you cannot tell from this very, very blurry thumbnail, have decided to sponsor an entire series over a year of basically me using their service to get from the intermediate level of Mandarin Chinese to an advanced level. So, I announced it. I gotta get good at Chinese now because, well, my sponsor wants me to get good at Chinese, and fucking money's on the line, bitch. And my wife needs me to be good at Chinese, and I want me to be good at Chinese. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm gonna be responding to those questions. I decided to put them into a blurry PDF file so I can respond to them in groupings. Let's start with the first one. Did they put any limits on what you can talk about? If you have a negative experience, will you be able to talk about it? And then, however, could you disclose how critical you're allowed to be? Could you post with the same critical titles as you've done with DS, even if they were largely clickbait? Okay, so can I be honest? Because this is a paid series, the company wants me to basically go, hey guys, go buy Lingopie. It's the most fucking thing in the universe. You buy this, you watch this, you're gonna fucking spit Chinese out of your fucking ears. Like, that's what they want me to do. But they are very, very well aware of the type of channel I am, okay? So we've spoken about this beforehand, and what they want me to do with this series is to basically prove that you can get from an intermediate level to an advanced level using their service, and then also to provide actual actionable feedback to them to make their service better. So obviously, I need to get fucking good. Okay, so I need to get good using their platform. Now, can I be critical? Well, if you remember my first video, in that video, I said I tried out this service for 10 hours before I decided to actually sign up and do this challenge. The reason being is because I didn't want to go, yeah, sure, let's do this, give me money. And then I sit down and I try to learn. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and then I just shit on them in the first video, because I guarantee you, if I just straight up shat on them in the first video, what would happen? Bruh, that's the end of the challenge. It doesn't matter they agree to do a year. Every single sponsorship contract out there, no matter what the contract is, okay, they all have a clause. That clause is, if they're not happy or I'm not happy, they can pull out or I can pull out. That's basically how it works, okay? So I decided to do a test, a 10-hour test beforehand to make sure that this is something that I'd be at least 80% happy with. So the fact I've even decided to do the series means I'm actually pretty happy with the way Lingopie does things. But of course, there is things that I want them to change and improve. Now, because I am working with a sponsor, I'm going to give them an opportunity. That opportunity basically works like this. If I find something I don't like or something I want changed, I will email and notify them before my video comes live. So, for example, I've already found 2 things that I want them to modify, okay? And I've already emailed them about this, and they said that they would forward it on to their product team. Now, whether they action that or not, it's totally up to them, okay? But when that 50-hour update comes around, they've had time to at least consider it. Okay, so then if they email me back and they're like, hey, you know what, we made those changes you want, I can go, hey guys, you know what, they actually listened to me, holy shit, and then like they made changes, and if they don't, I'll just be like, well, fuck, they didn't listen. Well, I guess it is, you know what I mean? That's just how it is. Like, they don't have to action everything I say. So I will be talking about the good and the bad during this series. Now, obviously, let's just say if in 6 months, this is really not going according to plan, I really don't like it, and like, I really want to shit on the service, I will do it. I will just take that L or that W, whichever you want to call it, okay? I will take that and I'll be like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm pulling out. I'll continue this series, but we're just gonna go all in, all raw, okay? So there is a possibility that I end this series as a sponsorship some way through, but there's also a possibility that they end it some way through. Maybe they're just not happy. Maybe they're actually happy, but the economic situation just goes bad, and they're just like, you know what, someone decided to go bomb all of Africa or something. So, we can't afford to do this right now because the whole markets are all up in the air, so we're pulling out. Like, there's a possibility that the series ends for multiple different reasons, even if both sides are happy. So, when it comes to titles and thumbnails, That's actually up to my editor. I'm gonna literally throw him under the bus right now. But my editor picks my thumbnails and my titles because, well, I fucking suck at that shit and he's better at getting people to actually click on the video, and then I'm better at making people actually stay and listening. I hope so. I hope I'm better at doing that. Now, here, regarding the DS thumbnails and titles and stuff, I actually, as you guys know, I don't have any relationship with the DS team. I actually reached out to them at one stage, and they put it in very, very polite way. They basically said, we do not want to be in any form of a relationship with you. They made it very politically, you know, like nice and everything, but it was basically like, please do not contact us ever again. So, like, the only way I can point out things that I don't like about DS is if I drop them in a video. But for Lingopie, I will give them notice, okay? And then hopefully they fix it so I don't have to shit on it and then I don't have to destroy an entire series over it. For the 50-hour update videos, in the contract, there is a clause that basically says they want to see the video before I release it. And the reason being is because they want to be able to provide their own feedback based on that. Now, do I have to action that feedback? No. But they do get the right to see the 50-hour updates beforehand. But they only get the 50-hour updates. They don't get these videos. These videos, I can do whatever I want. Okay, so that's the honesty side of things. Spanish! Wondering if you're going to also keep up your Spanish learning. Will you stop Dreaming Spanish series? Should you at least get to 1,000 hours? It's okay, guys. Don't freak out. I am still doing the Dreaming Spanish series. In fact, this challenge, which I've been doing now for the last couple of weeks, it has not impacted on my Spanish journey at all. I'm still clocking up the hours in Dreaming Spanish. I am now, I think, 1 or 2 days off of dropping my next DS update. That's right, we're about to have the 950-hour update. We're getting close, boys. But I do plan to keep that series going forward, all the way into the future. Okay, how long? I don't know. Well, we shall see. I'm guessing there will be a point where, like, hey guys, we're at the 5,000-hour update, and you'll all be like, bro, what are you doing? There's no change at this time. You're fucking fluent. Bro, you work for the Spanish Academy. What are you doing? I'm like, yeah, but I want to do the next video. Like, there's a possibility I just keep going forever. Okay, baseline. Are you taking a baseline language test to give yourself a measurable reference? Not just to give myself, but to give all of you. Yes, I have done a baseline test. If you go have a look, I dropped this video, which is already dead in the algorithm, because if you do a language channel and you talk in a language that's not English, holy shit, no one watches. I don't know why, but like, yeah, that video is already dead in the algorithm, but that is the baseline video, okay? So in this video, I sat down, turned on the camera, started speaking Chinese, and then I went and watched a bunch of videos. No preparation whatsoever, okay? Based on that video and the comments, people say that my output is around HSK 4. Understanding is higher than that, although my spoken Chinese is impacted quite a bit by my English in different ways. I already knew that, and I am working on that. Well, I was working on that, and that's basically where it's at. So, you know, with every 50-hour update, you're basically going to get a baseline update of where I'm at that point. And then at the end of the series, we can go back and we have a look. And I'm kind of hoping that if the series goes well, they sponsor another year, okay? That's the hope. But if not, it is what it is. Anki, etc. So, people are wondering if I'm going to continue my use of Anki and also my relationship? Like, am I going to... Okay, I will be tracking anytime I do outside of Lingopie in a separate Excel spreadsheet. Well, it's not Excel, it's actually a Google spreadsheet, which will be shared in the 50-hour updates, okay? But I will not be using Anki. I love Anki. I've spoken about Anki many, many times on this channel, but this is a Lingopie series, and we want to see how far Lingopie can take me, and they've got their own flashcard system. So we will be using everything in Lingopie. Now, I will still obviously speak Chinese in my family. Hopefully, I will get better, and maybe I'll even fully swap to Chinese in the family. But this series, for actually learning the language, everything is going to be via Lingopie. So that, I'm sorry, Anki. I love you, bro. We've had a long run, but it's over. I just found a newer, sexier, younger flashcard system. She doesn't require as much from me. So yeah, we will be moving on. Okay, now people were speaking about other competing products down in the comments section. One of them is Magaku. And then there was a bunch of others that were down there, and people were like, hey, you should try Magaku. You know what? I would love to. but they're not paying me. I'm getting paid by Lingopie, so I'm doing Lingopie. You guys can still talk about these other products down in the comment section in my Discord. I got no problems with that. It's not like I'm going to be like, yeah, that's the competition, delete. Like, you guys can keep talking about it, sharing tips, whatnot, but this series is the Lingopie series because they are paying me. Now, if you're wondering, why don't I go to another company like Magaku or something? I actually did. I met with them. I had a meeting and everything. And I was like, hey, why don't you guys pay me to use your service? And they're like, you know what? We don't pay influencers because we don't believe in you guys. But we do an affiliate system. You can use our affiliate links. And like, Brad, Lingopie's paying me. I'm out, bro. So like, obviously I've chosen that service, not because of any specific reason about what they provide feature-wise or whatnot. They're paying me, okay? You understand? Cool. If you want to go try out another service like Magaku or something, go ahead. Okay, now there was a lot of discussion about Lingopie and how it interacts with Netflix and Disney Plus and stuff like that. And then there was people pointing out that actually it doesn't anymore. And then there was questions around, you know, the Netflix and stuff. I actually asked Lingopie about this. I said, hey, what's going on with the Netflix and Disney Plus integration? Because I remember watching videos from like a year ago where that was the thing that they spoke about. And they actually told me that legally they can no longer have that integration. When I asked for more information, that was the extent of what I got, okay? Legally, they can no longer integrate with Netflix and Disney Plus. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to make some assumptions now, okay? These assumptions are based on my thinking as someone who's worked in various different companies. I'm pretty sure they got a letter from either Disney, Netflix, or both. And that letter was along the lines of, please stop integrating our stuff into your service. Otherwise, there will be problems. And they were like, okay, you've got more money and lawyers than us. We will stop. So I think that's pretty much what happened. Now, they've got like a little Chrome plugin, which does still work with them, okay, with Netflix and Disney. For certain languages and certain TV shows, but it's not officially supported from what I can tell anymore. They've actually decided to pivot their entire platform to bring everything in-house, obviously for legal reasons, which is an interesting question because I posed this question to Magaku as well, and they did not give me a clear response. They basically said if there was going to be an issue, they would deal with it when that time happened. So any of these services, I'm pretty sure any of these services that integrate with Netflix, Disney, they all exist in kind of like a grayish area. And as a result, they just kind of hope that they're not spotted. And I think Lingopie got to the size of a company where they were now becoming a hindrance to these other companies. Maybe not a hindrance, but, you know, at least they were noticed. So that's, yeah, don't sign up to any of these services if you want integration with Netflix or Disney or something like that, because you could lose it at any time. Subtitles. Can you also get subtitles in Pinyin? I actually showed that in my first video. I showed that you can get Hanzi, Pinyin, and like English. So you get all three. Now, there was someone who pointed out a mistake in one of the subtitles that I showed up on the screen. Okay, you guys are curious about this. How are the subtitles generated? It really depends on the content. So in Lingopie, there's a bunch of content, which is obviously TV shows, and then a bunch of content, which is, it looks like they purchased the rights from specific YouTubers, because I actually recognize some of the YouTubers, and that content is now on the platform. So content that's from TV shows, the subtitles look like it was literally from the TV shows. So like it's pretty accurate. Like there's no really too many mistakes there. However, content that's come from YouTube channels that was not subtitled, they've obviously used some type of AI system to subtitle those videos, which means that there is errors every now and then. Now, this specific error that they pointed out here, okay, this was not like an error in the subtitle. It was an error in how the word, when you selected a word in the subtitle, basically the bounding box of that word, okay? And for Chinese, this is always an issue with every single service out there that tries to break up Chinese words into words, because Chinese doesn't have those normal word bounds like, say, English does. You know, literally we've got spaces that's very clear word bounds. Chinese doesn't have that. It's all just, you know, clumped together. So pretty much every AI system struggles with this, but I have been reporting every single instance that I've seen because they've got a report feature and they've got someone behind the scenes who goes in and manually checks and fixes it. So apparently a native speaker who does that. Catalog. How big is a selection of videos in Chinese? It's not massive. It's big enough for me to do this challenge, but I wouldn't say it's not like Netflix massive, okay? And when I say Netflix massive, I mean, you're not going to get as many shows as Netflix does, nowhere near, okay? But realistically on Netflix, there's not that many shows that are dubbed to Chinese, so it's like, it's not a massive thing there. But there's enough content for me to do my challenge, but just realize that at this stage, they're in a pivot. they've gone from using these external services and now they're bringing everything in-house. So I assume as this series progresses, we're going to get way more content. It's just they're in the process of licensing it. At the moment, not that much. New language, interesting, but kind of shame you aren't doing a brand new language. Like, I get it, guys. We all want Evildea to go learn Arabic, Japanese, French, I don't know, list whatever language you want. I get it. We all want me to do that, and I want to do that, but we got to be realistic. This is not my full-time job. I do this shit for shits and giggles, and also, if I tried to do another language, I would literally just be piling that on top of the heap of languages I'm doing at this point, which means I'd be doing less for each language, which means I'd be making less progression. It's better that I just stick to what I got. I will eventually take on one more language. When? Don't know. Maybe if I ever do this as a full-time thing, or maybe once I get really high level in one of these other languages. At that time, we'll make that decision. Or, hey, there's always that 100,000 subs. At least you guys can choose the next language. When I start it, I don't know. But yeah, there's always that chance. So, we're at the end. I hope I've answered all your questions. If you like this video, like, sub to the channel. And for those who asked, am I still allowed to make threats at the end of videos that mention Lingopie? Yes! And if you don't sign up to my channel's membership and Lingopie via my affiliate link, which is in the description, make sure you click on that, then I will find you. I will dismember you. I'll make a video about it in very, very comprehensible Chinese, and I'll sell the rights of that video to Lingopie. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want it, but offers on the table. See you all next video.